But I want to bring up to kick this, or to end this, is Taylor Worre. I've known Taylor outside of Life Vantage for a long time, actually probably 6 years. At an event that we went to get educated and get more personal development, when we got to know Taylor. And even a couple years ago, we had the chance to hang out in Las Vegas a couple times, and you know, it was always one of those things that we thought he was an awesome guy, but the reality of us working with him, I didn't see it. And then all of a sudden, we see him show up at Orlando at Elite Academy. How many of you, or I'm sorry, at Indy. How many of you were at the last Elite Academy? And we saw Taylor there. And me and Michelle both looked at each other, and we knew the decision that had to be made at the corporate level. We could not let him leave that event without signing a contract to be with our company. And that's what happened. And we're just getting started. I mean, the things that we're going to do and the things that he's already doing with the red carpet event and the leaders that he's introducing to Life Vantage, it's going to change things. I mean, it's going to be on a rocket ship on what we do. And that financial call that we had a couple days ago was the best one that I've heard since we hit $200 million, you guys.
Yes.
And we felt this for 4, 5, 6 months prior. Now we have the financials that are aligning with the feeling, but that's just the beginning. That's just the precipice of what's going to happen over the next 6, 12, 18 months. And this guy's helping us drive that. So I want to bring up Taylor to end this. Thank you for...
How's everybody doing? Wasn't that awesome? I'm going to talk about these three in a little bit, but I mean, aren't they incredible?
Yeah.
All three of them, it's their first time in network marketing. First company. They're finding the success that they're having over the last 8 years because they just decided to be resilient, apply the same applicable steps consistently over a long period of time, and now they are where they are. So,
Nice, hey, how are you? All right, so my goal, what I want to talk to you guys tonight is a few things, 3 things. Number 1, I want to talk to you a little bit about my history, a little bit about my background for those that don't know. Number 2, I want to talk to you about why I chose to come to Life Vantage. And number 3, I want to talk to you a little bit about my position within the company and how I can hopefully help you build your business going forward. So number 1, my name is Taylor Worre. I'm a 3rd generation network marketer. It's all I've ever known my entire life, 31 years of experience. I like to tell people I was born into this profession. Many of you most likely know my father, Eric Worre, is the #1 personal trainer in the profession right now. Doing amazing things to elevate our profession every single day. But a lot of people, I mean my grandmother. Most people have heard recently that my grandmother Patty decided to come over and be a distributor here as well at Life Vantage. And so excited to have my grandma here. She's doing great. It's so great. She's just a sweet little lady. She's almost Pro 5 in her 2nd month. It's exciting. But yeah, so all that to say is this is all I've ever known this profession. I tell people all the time, I didn't have friends growing up. I had friends, I just didn't have friends my own age. I moved 7 times in 7 years throughout every year of elementary school. Every one. Kindergarten to 7. And so I didn't have friends my own age. And my friends were, and people laugh about this, but it wasn't that cool when I was a kid. But my friends were Jim Rohn, Les Brown, Mark Victor Hansen, Harvey McKay, Darren Hardy. The most influential personal development minds on this planet, in my opinion. Those were the people that I hung out with every day. I got to go to my father's television network, and I sat in the studios and watched these guys film, and I would hang out with Les Brown when I was 5 years old, grab my head and said, I see greatness inside you. And I said, okay. And I remember that. I don't know why, it freaked me out a little bit. And so this is all I've ever known. As soon as I was able to, I joined a network marketing business at 18. It's the day I turned. I did it the day before I turned 18, actually, so I was technically a legal distributor for a day. But I became the youngest regional director in that company's history. At 18, built that business for a couple of years, and it was a great experience. I loved being on that side, but ultimately, I found my calling when the company that I was working for, as a distributor, reached out, because at that time, my father was doing a lot of events like this. We were going around, we were building together, we were doing a ton of big events all over the country, all over the world. We went to Australia together. And when I was in Australia doing an event for him, we were in Melbourne, Australia, the corporate team showed up and they saw what I basically had put together. And they said, this is a pretty kick-butt event. You know, would you consider coming over to the corporate side? thought about it, and they offered me the position of the director of events. And I ended up taking that position, and that company, actually at the time, the COO was Darren Jensen. And so a decade ago, Darren Jensen and I connected on a really cool level. He was the COO, I was the director of events, and we got to work together for a couple years through an amazing phase of growth with an incredible company. And so that was really exciting. That was my first taste in the corporate world, and I was truly blown away by what this profession offered, because I'd seen it my whole life, but as a kid you see it
Different.
I was raised, it's all I ever knew. I didn't know any other. I mean, if your parents are dentists or doctors or teachers, most of the time you follow their path. My dad was a professional network marketer. I didn't know what normal looked like. My dad was always around for us. It was just, that's how it was. You know, it's a blessing that these guys have been able to find this. I didn't know any better. And so when I got into it, I started to see that I was having so much fun, and the amount of lives that were changing was literally blowing me away day after day. And that company, like I said, went through some amazing growth. I had my son. I'm a single dad. My Y is my son, Ethan John Worre. He's the most incredible 9-year-old on the face of this planet, and I love him with everything in me. But he's why I get up every single day to do what I do. And so I had my son when I was out in Utah. Eventually moved back to Minnesota. I worked for, how many people in this room have seen the Rise of the Entrepreneur documentary?
Yes.
So I ended up going next to work for the production company that created that documentary. So I worked on the production side, I did events, if any of you guys have seen the A Better Way series on Network Marketing Pro, that was my baby. We created those videos, and I got to go travel around the world and sit down with the top 1% of our profession for 2 to 3 days at a time and just hear their story and get to hang out with them and get to know them. That was 3 years of my life. Those videos garnered like 20+ million views. They were amazing. It was fun to share the reality of this profession, because with that Better Way series, Darren says it best, it's not about the bikinis and Lamborghinis. It's not. For me, it's about what these guys talk about, the time freedom to be able to sit at home and be a parent to their kids. To be able to be a husband, to be able to be a true wife. 70% of this profession is women. Ladies, you're running it right now. So we talk a lot about the husband side like that, but the reality is most of the husbands are the supportive spouses in this profession. So I got to work on the event side. I got to do some amazing stuff there, and then I ended up going over and being the vice president of promotions for a company that did marketing and brand awareness, stuff like that, for a bunch of different network marketing companies. Helped bring a couple companies public with their marketing platforms. Was an advisory board member for a couple different companies. I was a business coach for a couple different companies. And so I've been, for the last decade, immersed within this profession on a professional level. It's all I've known, it's all I've done. For the last year before I joined LifeVantage, I was the international director of communications for a different network marketing company. They were based in Italy. I traveled all over the world. I was the face of their company. I loved it. I loved what I did, I should say. After about a year, I realized that I no longer was aligning morally with that company, and I decided that I needed to start looking for something a little bit different. Nothing against them. I am a huge advocate of this profession. I think that when other network marketing companies win, it elevates us as a whole.
Yes.
We need other companies to win. We can't be the only winner here. So, people talk about us as the unicorn. I think that's cool for the people inside LifeVantage, but it's also kind of a double-edged sword. We don't want to be a unicorn. We want to educate the profession on the right way to do things. And then hopefully they pick up the mantle and do it as well, because if they do, network marketing over the next 25 to 50 years is going to be that name where people say, oh, you're doing that? Instead of, you're doing that? People get excited when they talk about it. And so that's, I think, 8 years ago, my father retired completely from the profession so that he could do nothing but train all of us to elevate, to become network marketing professionals. So after that, I started looking around, and when I started looking around, I got headhunted kind of crazy. There's a bunch of companies that reached out. There's a lot of people that were wanting to sit down and talk, wanted me to come over. And I looked into them all. And I was laying in bed one night, and I told this story, I think it was this morning, but it was a defining moment for me, because I was laying in bed, and I had visited a handful of companies, spent some good time, great companies in our profession, some amazing companies that are going to have some great success in the future. But I was laying in bed one night, it was late January, early February, and I was just scrolling through my phone, And it just didn't, I knew I needed to make a decision. I was leaving where I was at. I was determined. I just didn't know where I was going to go. And all these companies had the appeal for me that it was like, this is it should be it, but it just doesn't feel right in here. I'm scrolling through my phone and I get to the D's, and Darren Jensen's name pops up. And I'm like, oh, LifeVantage. I thought about these guys. I've followed LifeVantage for the last 5-6 years, and Darren Jensen in the last 3 years had come over and taken over as CEO, watched what he had done, was wildly impressed. But from the outside, LifeVantage had gone a little plateaued over the last 4 years, and I didn't know why. I wasn't in the know. So I just called Darren. Called him up, and we got on the phone, and Darren said one of the coolest things to me that I'll never forget. But Darren basically said, Taylor, now that I know that you're looking, if you give me the opportunity, and you come out and take a look at LifeVantage, I'll make sure that your search ends here. And so I said, I got off the phone with him, and I said, okay. I got on the phone with my father. I have my own advisory board of top income earners and stuff like that around the profession that I reach out to before I make a decision, and I run everything by them. Most of them, like I said, are in the top 1% of whatever company that they're with. And the fascinating thing that I found out is I called them all and I was telling them about the different companies. And the one thing that stood out about LifeVantage amongst all the other companies is every one of them. I would go through this company, I'm not going to name companies, but this company, and they're like, oh, good company. This company, oh, it's a good company. LifeVantage, they're like, I take Rotanum every single day. And so I was like, why haven't you guys told me about this? Like, I'm asking you for advice all the time. You don't bring this up? All of you are all taking this? Like, okay, that's pretty cool. And so I got on a plane, went out to Indianapolis. Darren Jensen and I, like I said, we've known each other for a decade. And so when we got to sit down and really talk brass tacks, I just asked him the real questions. I told him straight up, I'm not looking to join a company that's going to be doing $200 million a year for the next 10 years. It's not what I'm looking for. I want to be a part of something special. I didn't join the startups. It's too much instability. I don't want to risk my brand on a coin flip. And I didn't join any of the giants because I don't believe, I believe, like most of you in this room, that I have the ability to impact change, to make a difference. And I want to do that. I don't want to go somewhere where I get lost into the shuffle of a multi-billion-dollar company. And I wanted to be a part of that run personally. I got a lot of run in me right now. And so I sat down and Darren, when it comes to the corporate, I'm going to tell you why I chose LifeVantage here. Number one was the products. I think everyone here, most of you guys have had obviously a positive experience on the products, but for the guests here, what I want to tell you is number one, give the products a try. You owe yourself the favor of giving the products a try. And it's going to take a defining moment for you. Darren Jensen always says, better to have a happy customer than a reluctant distributor. We have so many people in LifeVantage that come on as customers and find their way to becoming distributors in a very short period of time, if you just love them and respect them for what they want to be right now. But I needed to have my own defining moment. I've been on Protandim for a few months now. I'll be straight up with you. I'm a healthy guy. I work out all the time. I eat healthy. I haven't felt like this amazing. Axial for me is a game changer though. That stuff's shit. Like these guys, I'm so jacked up right now, but we've got a bus full of Axial. That's like all we're drinking every day. We don't have any food. We got a lot of Axial. I don't know, groceries. We got salsa, Tostito scoops, and Axial. That's all we got. But I needed to have my own defining moment. And so when I got involved with LifeVantage, the number one thing for me that was important was that if these products did what I believe they did because the science behind them proved it, then I needed to immediately get them into the hands of the people that I love most. I sent my mother a box of Vitality Stack. She's going through some stuff right now, some skin issues, and I won't get into the details, but she was having some issues going to a dermatologist trying to figure stuff out, couldn't get it figured out. I sent a box to my nan, her mother, who had just lost my grandfather about 3 or 4 months ago. She was having a hard time. She's been trying to get out of it, and her energy's dropping. And I'm watching. I called her after it happened. I said, "We're not ready to lose you yet. You got another 15 years here. You're not going anywhere." And so when I had this in my hands, I said she needs to be taken. She was having a ton of digestive issues. She was having heart problems with her stomach. Within 4 days, I got a call from my mother. She called me on my way into the office, and basically all she said, my mother's been in this profession. Not many people know my mother. Not many people do. A lot of people assume that Marina is my mother. She's not. She's 8 years, 9 years older than me. So, I love her dearly. She's one of the best, amazing stepmothers on the face of this earth. But she didn't have me when she was 8. And and I tell people all the time, she's amazing, but my mother is a saint. I love my mother dearly. My mother ran the entire production wing of my father's television network for 8 years, helped him start TPN, ran everything on the back end while being a mother to me and my brother and sister. She's, in all ways, a superhero. But I needed her to have this product. And so within 4 days, she called me, and all she said very simply was, I don't need to know the science because you guys got your own inside jargon. I don't need to know any of that. All I'm calling to tell you is, whatever you gave me works, and I couldn't be happier right now. My skin cleared up. I just left my dermatologist's office. They can't explain why or what's going on, but all I know is that this product works for me, and I'm going to be taking it every day. Pretty cool. I had the ability to impact my own mother's life positively. To improve her quality of life. What greater gift could I give to a mother as a son? I can't think of anything better. Flowers on Mother's Day, cards, chocolate, stuff like that. And I'd rather improve her life. Forever. My Nana calls me. She goes, I don't know what this is, but I don't want to be TMI, but she was having some stomach issues. She says, I've been able to go out and eat whatever I want without fear of having to run home or get to a bathroom every 20 minutes. She's like, this is the coolest thing ever. I can finally eat again. I can enjoy food again. She had to restrict everything on her diet was based on what was going to work well with her stomach. So the products for me, I had my own defining moment with the products, and I invite everyone that hasn't yet to find your defining moment. To go get your defining moment for whoever it is. If it's yourself, wonderful. It's your family, great. The reality is the science behind these products is proven. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. It's real deal Holyfield. It's legit. It's not going anywhere. We're not going anywhere. So product. Then the field. Now I get to talk about these awesome guys for a minute. But like they said, I've known these guys for the last 5-6 years. I was always told, and I've taught as well, but money doesn't make you a good person. Money is only going to accentuate what you are inside. Pardon my language, but if you're a shitty person, you get a lot of money, you're going to be a shitty person with a lot of money. If you're a good person, you get a lot of money, you're going to be a good person with a lot of money. But a lot of the times in network marketing, ego gets in the way. It dilutes things, it confuses you. You get checks like these guys get, the top 1% of the world. Not just network marketing, these guys earn in the top 1% of the world. The planet Earth, of all the people, they're in the top 1%. It's pretty sweet. And 3 of them are sitting here. It's like we got 3 rock stars here. And the cool thing is there's not 1 ounce of ego in any of these 3 individuals. Not 1. And that's how it flows all the way through this company. When I came onto LifeVantage, I told Darren Jensen that I will protect the LifeVantage name like I protect my own last name. I only want to bring the best of the best that are going to fit in and run this company like these leaders have for the last 8 years. With integrity, with morals, with values, with consistency. That's what we're looking for here. And these leaders here, I've gotten to watch them literally go through, they were talking about going through the rainforest. All the people that are brand new here at LifeVantage are just getting started in the last year. They have literally chopped down the rainforest for you. They have allowed you to step into a time machine and avoid 8 years of hard work, of trial and error, of plan, do, review. They've tried it all. And they know what works now. You've gotten to sit and listen to them here tonight. What works? And what works is just applying the simple, applicable steps over a consistent period of time, and you find success here. My father talks all the time about the 10,000 hour rule. It takes 10,000 hours before you can call yourself a professional at anything. Doctors have to put 10,000 hours in. Athletes got to put 10,000 hours in. There's every one of you in this room, you become a network marketing professional, have to put 10,000 hours in. The only really cool thing about network marketing, and here at LifeVantage, is you guys get to get paid while you're putting your 10,000 hours in. Lawyers paying up the wazoo, engineers, they're getting multiple degrees, and stuff costs money while they're learning to put their 10,000 hours in before they can even go practice. You guys get to practice and earn and learn as you're going. It's amazing. And so the field for me at LifeVantage was bar none, in my opinion, and I have been in this profession my whole life. I know all of the companies. I follow them all closely. I know a lot. Most of the top 1% of this profession I know on a friend relationship basis, and there is not a company on this planet with the culture in the field like LifeVantage. It really is. It's so refreshing, you guys. I'm on the corporate side. I get to watch these guys. I get to help be an asset to them. And do you know how much fun it is to be an asset to someone that appreciates it? To be an asset to someone that wants your help and that wants to grow with you, that doesn't want to just use you? That happens in other companies, you guys. It doesn't happen here at LifeVantage. The next thing for me was the corporate team. The corporate team at LifeVantage is amazing. Darren Jensen, one of the most genius minds in the network marketing profession. The dude understands numbers and has the ability to look into the future like no one I have ever met before. When I sat down and talked to him and he lined out the next 3 to 5 years, I wish I could tell you what the next 3 to 5 years look like. I really do. But just to tell you, the next 6 to 12 months, you guys, I firmly believe that in the next 12 months, we're going to go from a $200 million a year company to a $400 million a year company. That's what I believe. And I'm going to put everything in me to make it happen. And I know that a lot of leaders in this room are going to do the same thing. But the corporate team, I tell a quick story just to tell you who the minds are that are running your company. We sat in a meeting with all the top executives from LifeVantage and all the GMs from around the world. There's only 20 people in the meeting in our executive boardroom in Salt Lake City, 20 of us. We sat down and we added it up. Out of the 20 top executives and GMs, there was over 330 years of combined network marketing experience in that room. That's an average of 16.5 years per person. Those are the minds that are running your company. Educated in this profession, they have spent their lives dedicated to learning how this works and how to be able to best assist you in finding success. So the corporate team for me was, I literally walk into the office every day like a giddy little kid. It's so much fun. We hacky sack soccer balls all over the place. We're thinking of new fun promotions. What corporate gig do I get to come hop on an RV with 3 of the coolest dudes on the planet and just travel around popping Axios all day long and coming and hang out with cool people like you guys? It's amazing. So the corporate team was rock solid, and the next thing for me was opportunity and timing. Like I said, I didn't want to be a part of an opportunity that was going to be sitting $200 million a year for the next decade. And so what I really started to look at when I talked to Darren is, what do the next few years look like? What are you putting in place to make all this happen? I got to see the app before it was coming out. These guys working on amazing PowerPoint presentations and new videos and new tools for everyone in the field to have. But ultimately, I believe it started personally about 4 or 5 months ago with the Pacesetter program, which in my opinion is one of the most genius programs on the face of the earth, and especially in our profession. The ability to reward those just getting started is so important. Retention raises by 220% when a distributor makes a single dollar in your company. $1, retention raises by 220%. I looked at the numbers and Darren talks, he's a big numbers guy. The average distributor in LifeVantage is in for over 22 months. The average customer in LifeVantage stays on ordering products for 11.4 months. You guys need to understand what you are sitting on is not normal. Most companies have a 2 to 3 month retention rate on their customer. LifeVantage is sitting at 11.4. Over 3 times, it's unreal. And so the opportunity, I sat down and I looked and I heard, Darren came in 3 years ago and we sat down and talked, I got to understand the infrastructure that he had to build over the last 3 years to get to where we are right this second. Everything that Darren's been doing since he walked in the door 3 years ago, in my opinion, was setting you guys up for where we are like today, right now. And when he showed it to me, I was blown away. I was so excited. And like we said on the earnings call, who's on the earnings call, the third quarter earnings call? Raise your hand if you stopped in and listened to it. I'm so glad that a lot of you didn't, because I get to break the news to you then. Like they were saying, it was the best earnings call we've had in years from what I was told by all the people that have been with the company for years. But the number that excited me, the thing that jacked me up the most, is that in March and April of this year, these last 2 months, LifeVantage has experienced the biggest month-over-month growth that we have seen since 2016, you guys. 1 month is a fluke, 2 months is a trend. We're on to something. When you see the numbers coming out for May and June, we are effectively entering into momentum, ladies and gentlemen. I've been able to be a part of a company in momentum, and what I'll tell you is, it is sweet. There's nothing sweeter. It's so much fun. It really is. So what I tell you, the next 12 months, it's time for everyone here. I've had a lot of people that I've gotten to meet tonight, and I'm not singling anyone out, but I've heard a lot of people tell me, because I ask 2 questions when I meet most people. I try to get these 2 questions is, how long have you been in the company? And what current rank are you at right now? There's a lot of people in this room that when I ask those questions, get a little bit discouraged. They shrink up a little. I've been in for 6 years, and I'm a Pro 2, or I'm a Pro 3, or what I want to tell you is write this down. If you have a notepad and a pen in front of you, write this down. Never, and I mean never, judge your success based on someone else's timeline. Ever. Don't let that happen. Your success, your race, your business, everyone, we're all growing in our own way. My father would always teach from stage. He would say, what if it took you 10 years? 10 years of just applying the applicable steps every single day, consistently. Just grinding it out, just being consistent. To create a residual income that would pay you in the top 1% every month for the rest of your life, whether or not you worked, would it be worth it?
Yes.
Yes, 100 times yes. Every time yes. And so I know that there have been some people in this room that have had a little bit of a setback. What does Les Brown say about setbacks? Setback is just a setup for a comeback. That's what Les Brown says. So just know that this is your time. If you've been waiting, wondering, thinking, this is the time. And I'm running just as hard as everyone in this room is. My role here at LifeVantage as the Director of New Leader Experience, and directly we're working in our Red Carpet program, is to go out and find those 6- and 7-figure earners, those seasoned veterans in network marketing that are looking for a final home, that are looking to come home. Whether they're unhappy with where they're at, or they're no longer at a company, they're looking for a place, those are the people that I'm going to find. And what I'll tell you in the last 3 months, in the next few weeks, a few of them are going to go public and you guys are going to freak out. So it's going to be fun. But I'll tell you, we brought some people in that are but that's what we need. We need some support from those seasoned veterans out there, because I think that $1 billion company is like a 90s thing, personally. That was what everyone talked about in the 90s. Billion is like not as big as it used to be. I mean, it is not. Billion in the 90s was a big deal. I mean, $1 billion is still a big deal, but all that to say is I personally believe that 15 to 25 years from now, we're going to be in the tens of billions. I don't think that we're just like $1 billion, like we won, we're there. No, sorry, we're going to the top. Like Fred Graves said, like Scott and Sean have been saying, every person on this planet will know and have the opportunity to be taking this vitality stack within the next 5 to 10 years. Every person on the planet is going to know about it. Everyone. LifeVantage will be a household name. There are people in Shackley that they're a 5th generation. I always talk about this because I think it's so cool. Shackley's got 5th generation network marketers at Shackley. Almost a 100-year-old company that's been passed down. Great-great-great-grandkids are taking their business that their great-great-great-grandparents started 100 years ago. How cool is that? That's what we have here at LifeVantage. Think about the ability to be able to pass something on, not just for your kids, but for your grandkids and for their kids. So far, long after you're gone, your legacy. And that's what this is, everyone. This is a legacy opportunity. This is a legacy company. And so what you have is the opportunity to build that. Right now, I tell people the wave is coming. If you've ever surfed before, it's real hard to catch a wave when it's right behind you. You gotta paddle really fast. It's impossible to catch the wave once it's passed. But if you see the wave, and you start paddling with everything you got, you can stand up and ride it. I always equate it to like those natural disaster movies where the guy's standing on the beach and like the world's coming to an end and they see that brick wall, that giant wall of a wave, and it looks like this, thing coming at them. That's LifeVantage. We're 2 miles offshore, you guys. We're coming in hot. We're coming in. So all that to say is the opportunity and the timing for me and for everyone in this room is the best it's ever been. Right now.
Yes.
And everyone that's been here for the last 8 years, you were a part of this journey. We couldn't have gotten to where we are right now without your efforts. Without your ability to just stay on the product, enjoy it, tell people about it. Stay consistent with us. Our retention rates, the amount of people that have been in this company for 8 years blows my mind, because if you knew the history around LifeVantage, it's not always been exciting like this. Over the 8 years, it took 2 other CEOs to find Darren Jensen the right one. Most network marketing companies that go through what LifeVantage has gone through are no longer in existence. The reason that LifeVantage is still here is because the unbelievable effects in science behind our products. The life-changing effects that people are having because of these products. So I've had a lot of people come up to me tonight and say, I'm so thankful that you came to LifeVantage. And while I appreciate that, it's very important that everyone in this room knows, and they know it well, that it is in every single way my greatest honor to be a part of this company. I look to be here for the rest of my life. I don't want to go anywhere else. I look forward to creating a multi-billion-dollar opportunity with each and every one of you. The next few years are going to be great, and I'm just excited for everyone in this room, because what this Motorhome tour is just revitalizing everyone. Everyone that's just been feeling like they've been a little bit stuck. Hopefully it's shaking that dust off. It's wiggling those roots around and just feeling like you've got some room to grow again. So, with that, it has been my greatest privilege to talk to you all tonight. To meet you, to share stories with you, to hear about your journeys and what you've been through in your life. It truly has been an honor. And so thank you from the bottom of my heart. I look forward to seeing you all